future isn't created in a keynote address. The presidential speech did not land us on the moon. Millions of man-hours did. They built their way there. Some will talk about the future, but you'd be a fool to believe them. You see, talk doesn't get things done. Building does. Building, like we have for the last 115 years. And building for the next century. Building cars, new technology, and transforming cities. So let the other guys keep dreaming about the future. We'll be the ones building it.
My name is Tyler, and I'd like to welcome you to Ford, where we are proud to build great cars, trucks, and SUVs, proud to help build strong local communities, and proud to help build a better world with more mobility for each and every one of us.
My grandfather, when he became ill and was no longer able to move, he rarely ever left the house and was completely dependent on those around him. So that's really when the first question of mobility and aging came into my mind, and that was sort of the seed for how Go Ride got started. We believe so strongly that mobility is a fundamental right. My grandfather could have retained more of his social circle, more of his interests, and again, lived on his terms and be able to be the person that he was his whole life. To have that kind of experience really speaks to the values that Ford has, and I think we're all very proud to be part of that.
When Jake was little, he just loved playing with any kind of car it was. And then he just liked to start going to dealerships.
And they would see us come in and they'd say, "Oh, can we help you?" And we'd say, "No, we're just looking at the cars." And after a while, you could almost sense that there was an annoyance with us. But when it came to Apple Valley Ford, they really embraced Jacob.
Jake found something in us that he liked. He just wanted to be a part of something, and we were lucky enough for him just to want to be a part of what we had.
It's one of the hardest things we consider, raising a special needs son is inclusion. So when the dealership embraced him, we just asked, is it okay if Jacob actually works here? And then he was officially employed.
You look at Jake as he's in the dealership, and he is proud to be part of Ford. Just the fact that the people at Ford care enough about him.
Most people can't really imagine what it's like to be in a raging fire. The Tubbs fire is a good example of a blaze that just got out of control incredibly quickly. Two sheriff's deputies are going door to door, and this is a very frantic time in any emergency situation.
Where are you at?
These two sheriff's deputies, at great personal peril, used their cruisers to get into where the people were, around the flames, embers flying, to get those people out and to safety. All those heroes are people too, and every one of them shares the same fears, the same concerns, and the only thing that they can rely on is their training and their equipment, because that's what gets them through every one of those emergency calls. I am proud that Ford is here to support me and all first responders so that we can support you.
Even those of us who aren't first responders want to be the heroes of our own adventures, and that's why Ford created the all-new Ranger. It's the only mid-sized pickup truck that's built Ford tough, and it's always ready to take you on your next adventure. Let's take a look. Ranger is back, and it's ready for your next adventure. In fact, speaking of adventures, let's meet the Slimmick family, who retraced a part of Lewis and Clark's path on a single tank of gas in an all-new Ford Explorer Hybrid.
Sam, come on, let's go.
Be amazing, thank you.
Delivering 318 combined horsepower and is projected to return an EPA estimated range of 500 miles in between gas station fill-ups. Now it can take you off-road with confidence or tow up to 5,000 pounds when properly equipped. And there is no compromise in cargo space or passenger room. But we're not done with our Explorer news just yet. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you the all-new Ford Explorer ST. Now, under the hood, we have a new 3-liter V6 EcoBoost that's projected to turn out 400 horsepower with 415 pound-feet of torque. With a targeted top speed of, get this, 143 miles per hour, this is the fastest Explorer that we've ever built. Also equipped with standard Ford Copilot 360 with advanced driver assist features. For example, we've all had that moment of truth trying to change lanes on a busy freeway. Now, the blind spot information system on Explorer uses radar to help detect vehicles moving in your blind spot and can reward you with an indicator light here in the side view mirror. With cross-traffic alert, it uses that same radar to help detect vehicles approaching from the sides that you just can't see when you are slowly backing out of a parking space or your own home driveway. Or how about everyone's favorite activity, driving home in stop-and-go traffic at the end of a long day? Well, adaptive cruise control helps you maintain a safe distance in traffic by managing your acceleration and braking to smoothly cruise at the speed and following distance that you yourself select. The lane keeping system can even detect when you cross over a lane marker and notifies you through steering wheel vibration, even applying steering torque to help guide you back into the center of your lane. And then, of course, there's automatic emergency braking. It uses radar and camera technology to scan the road ahead and can apply the brakes to reduce the risk of any collision between slow or stopped vehicles, or even a pedestrian like myself. Now, the 2020 Explorer offers all of these driver assist features and more, but it's only the beginning for Ford. We are going to be rolling out Copilot 360 technology out across the entire Ford lineup. But we're also thinking beyond smart vehicles. We're working with cities and other partners to create a smart new world where every journey is easier and more seamless for each of us. Now, I'd like you to imagine this is a future Ford vehicle, and it operates here in the city of tomorrow, where open source technology that Ford is already building with its partners keeps vehicles constantly connected to each other, to roadside infrastructure like our traffic signals, to cloud-based services, pedestrians like myself, cyclists, and even our brave first responders. Why don't we take a minute to see what that looks like? Now, here in a second, you are going to meet Karen, who's expecting her first child in 2 weeks, and her husband Alberto here is driving them to the final checkup with Dr. Gibson. But Karen's a little worried that she might already be going into labor. So they call Dr. Gibson, who tells them to go directly to the hospital. And that's when Alberto has a panic attack. But before he even starts to hyperventilate, his vehicle detects a medical emergency based on a spike in his heart rate and blood pressure. Driver assist technology then takes control of the vehicle to safely park, and first responders and medical teams are contacted automatically. Signals themselves are then switched, and traffic is rerouted so that first responders can reach the patient safely. Now, they already know that they've got a pregnant mom, plus a bit of a panicked dad at the same scene. And Dr. Gibson, she's already on her way to the hospital in an autonomous vehicle that also gets to serve as her very own mobile office. What could have been a minor emergency here, well, turns out to be the perfect delivery of the happiest kind. And that's our vision for the city of tomorrow, and it starts with the advanced Ford vehicles that we're building today. Now, we've talked about the Explorer ST, the Explorer Hybrid, and of course the all-new adventure-ready Ranger. But there's one more thing we haven't talked about yet. Now, does anyone know what we are going to be talking about? That's what I thought. Now, if you want to see what we're going to talk about, let me hear it, Detroit. Yeah. Oh, that was so weak. Come on, give us a yeah. There we go.
Well, Joyce, if you're ready to race, the first thing we have to do is pick a GT500, and we have some great choices. But I have to warn you, I've been driving a Mustang since I've been 15.
Yeah, with no license, no insurance, right, Jim? You know, I didn't start driving until I was street legal, but I'll take my chances. Wow, it's a GT500 mystery car. Let's unlock it and see what it can do.
All right, so if you're ready to race, let's put our headsets on, and let's invite everyone in the audience to come along for the ride.
all-new 2020 Shelby GT500. Now, based on the same 5.2-liter aluminum alloy engine block that we use in our Shelby GT350, this hand-built supercharged engine turns out over 700 horsepower. Now, this all-new GT500 is also loaded with smart racing technology from Ford Performance that makes this the most advanced performance Mustang that we've ever built. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our show for today. Now, when you're finished here at the show, be sure to visit the Michigan Central Station Winter Festival, happening at the train station in Corktown from today until January 27th. It's packed with indoor and outdoor activities for all ages, including some never-before-seen historical artifacts. Now, you can talk to myself or any one of the knowledgeable product specialists out on the show floor here for more information. And once again, thanks for joining us here at Ford. We're proud of the great cars, trucks, and SUVs we're building today, and excited about the smart world that we're building for tomorrow. Now, before you leave, make sure you grab all your kids, whatever you brought, and watch your steps on the way down. We also have the Explorer VR experience here on your left, and the Ranger